What's up, guys? It's Freeborn here, and today it is time for day 2 of the new training program, and today's legs. So I think today might be the day I'm actually happy that this new program has a lot less volume than what I'm typically used to. I don't think that's going to be the case in a few more weeks, but at least for this first week, it's not as much. That being said, on the docket today is some squatting, some leg curls, some calf raises, and then actually some direct ab work. They've actually got some reaching sit-ups in here, so that should be interesting because I hardly ever do any kind of direct ab work, particularly that being like flexion based. If I do any kind of direct ab work, core work, it's always usually based on kind of core stability and resisting motion rather than creating it. But it'll be good. Different stimulus. It's good for me. It's getting hot here in Missouri too, so this should be fun in the gym for the next couple months. It's gonna be pretty warm, and we're gonna do legs like twice a week, and the volume's gonna get more and more. But you guys already know what these videos are all about. I don't really know if I'm gonna stick with the same format that I used on the first one. I'm sure it'll evolve as this goes on. Maybe I'll make a little bit more stylish sequence with the workout, or throw some music in there, just different cuts. But the first video, I just kind of wanted to see what it would look like if it was just totally raw and you guys could see each set. And it's kind of almost a way for you guys to get to look over the program and review the exact program I'm doing. But any feedback you guys have is always welcomed. Without further ado, though, let's go squat our faces off. that workout's over with. These workouts are much shorter than I'm used to, but I think the fact that I only have a couple working sets right now at the very beginning of this program is really making me focus on making each rep really count. So being very mindful of the mind-muscle connection, make sure I'm using really great form, really great technique, and getting everything I can out of each working set. Of course, factoring in the whole auto-regulation principles of, you know, stopping at a perceived level of fatigue or a perceived rate of exertion, which is, it's difficult. And I talked about this in the first video. It's difficult because you have this fear that you don't want to overexert yourself, because then you're kind of messing up the progressive overload of intensity and volume over time. But you also don't want to sell yourself short and just give up on a set before you've reached true 3 reps in reserve, or true feeling of fatigue. And you have to get really honest with yourself about how many reps can I really do, how many reps do I really have left in the tank, and you start to really become more comfortable with understanding what failure really feels like, instead of just maybe what feels uncomfortable, and learning to push through that feeling of uncomfortable to get to that real level of fatigue that you're chasing. Also, another note, in terms of just like exercise selection, this program probably ideally is geared to someone who trains in like a commercial gym setting. Although you can definitely get it done in a garage gym like I'm doing. But for example, today I had to do the second variation of squats I did was basically a close stance, feet together, feet forward, kind of quad emphasized version of the squat. Ideally something that's a very quad focused squat movement would a better exercise, I feel like, particularly for hypertrophy, would be something like a Smith machine feet forward squat, or a machine hack squat. But those tools I don't have access to, so I'm having to make do with modifying just your standard back squat to make it more of a quad dominant exercise, which works just fine, but it's just, in my opinion, not ideal. Same thing goes for lying leg curls. Ideally, you would do like a lying leg curl machine, but the closest thing I can approximate is a dumbbell lying leg curl, and that has some challenges that you have to overcome, like how to set it up properly, and then it just, the angles of all your joints don't feel quite ideal because your feet are real close together, and then it's just something to consider when you're thinking about how to execute a program, or what's the ideal program and what's the ideal exercise selection. Is sometimes you have to get kind of creative if you're not a commercial gym person, which nothing wrong with that. And maybe even down the road, maybe I'll break down and do legs at the commercial gym or something, I don't know. But primarily I train in a garage gym, so sometimes it can be tough to find just the right exercise. But I got it done. Hats off to another day, a second day, I guess. The second day of the program knocked out. Let me know what you guys think, if you're enjoying it. So far, I've got no complaints. Looking forward to more to come. I will see you guys in the next one.